So my dear friends, today I want to reveal to you one of the deepest secrets that the Satan doesn't want you to know. And the reason he doesn't want you to know is because if you know that, you win and he dies. So what is this secret that is so important? And it seems obvious, but obviously the Satan makes everything that is obvious look unobvious. So the Satan, when we speak of the Satan, when came the Satan the first time? So we look in the Torah, the first time it comes is in Bereshis. What does it say? Genesis, when he comes to try to seduce Eve, so he says to her, when he said, "Why don't you eat from the fruit?" God just wants you to be below him, that he shouldn't want you to know what's good and bad, and therefore he doesn't want you to eat. And then right after that, because of the way he explained it, the woman perceived that the tree was good for eating, and that it was delight to the eyes, and that the tree was desirable as a means to wisdom, and she took of its fruit and ate. So it speaks about desire, wanting all those desires that she had that brought her to do that, superficial desires, that what appears to her to be good actually was not good, and that was her mistake. In very simplistic terms, I want to read to you. So we know that the root of what the Satan came to do at the very beginning is to cloud our judgment and to let ourselves use our desire in a destructive way. And now, that means that's how the Yetzer Hara feels himself. The Satan is trying to keep us doing things that we desire and want to do and that are not good for ourselves, and keep doing that without us being aware. So if we read the book Sha'arei Kedusha, which is written by Rabbi Chaim Vital, the student of the Arizal, he says something very powerful that shook my life when I read it the first time, and it should shake your life. What does he say? He says, so I'm going to just go short because we want to go short, but it's in the in the first chapter, in the second gate, when he speaks about midos and mitzvos, and he says the mitzvos and the midos, meaning the commandments and your character traits, they are connected, but they don't work the same. It says the midos, your character traits, is the foundations, and the mitzvos is what enables the foundation to expand and to bring God's good in the world as a result of doing it. But he says that if you don't have good midos, if you don't have good character traits, you don't refine them, then your mitzvot are not going to be effective. They won't work. They won't bring that light. So he says, therefore, that all the preparation to do the 613 mitzvot the right way is to work on your character traits. And he finishes, this is the foundation, and he finishes, listen to that. It's written in Hebrew, so you realize what he says? ולפיכך עניין המידות הרעות קשים מן העבירות עצמן מאוד מאוד. Therefore, the midos, bad character traits, are much worse than doing an avera, a bad commandment that you're not allowed to do. So, for example, he's saying, if you get angry, it's much worse than transgressing Shabbat. If you speak Lashon Hara, or lie, or say anything bad with the mouth, it's much worse than if you didn't pray one day. If you don't, if you cheat, you're not honest in business, it's much worse than than in kosher or stuff like that. So, right? So we have to understand that he's saying something very, very powerful, and therefore he concludes, ונמצא כי יוסר צריך להיזהר ממידות הרעות, יוסר מן הקיום המצוות עשה ולא תעשה, כי ביוסו בעל מידות טובות בנקל יקיים כל המצוות. He says, and we found therefore that it's more necessary to be aware and work on character traits, on evil character traits, obviously, more than on the fulfillment of the mitzvot aseh, the positive commandments and the negative commandments. Because once you become master of your character traits, it's easy and simple to keep all the commandments. So this is a crazy statement. This is a crazy statement, and if not for him, I would never be able to see that. So the Satan, you understand how the Satan works. The Satan says, I don't want them to work on character traits. Therefore, I'm going to make them think that the most important thing is just to learn Torah and just to do the commandments. So Satan says, yeah. Actually, the Baal Shem Tov says that. Do the commandments. Yes, become religious, fanatics. Yes, great. I love that. Just do it. Do the mitzvot. Learn all day. Great. But don't work on your character traits. Don't work on your anger. Don't work on your speech. Don't work on your goodness. Right? And then he has it. And that's the Mesilat Yesharim, the Path of the Just, a book that everybody should read. Right? And he says that that's exactly the Yisrael wants to do, because if he does that and keeps you busy with other things, then you will never be able to do the mitzvot properly, because it won't work. They will not be effective. They won't protect you. And not only that, Hashem is not with you. So you can do all the commandments, but because you don't refine your character traits, Hashem doesn't come. You don't believe me? Let me read it to you, because it's scary. He says like that. If a person carefully watches himself, however, God will then assist him and he will be saved from the Yetzer Hara. But if he does not keep watch over himself, which explains before, working on all your character traits, then God will certainly not watch over him. For if he does not have considered for himself, who will have considered for him? And the whole purpose of your creation, is to refine your character traits. And now, understand something, my dear friends. What are the mitzvot? The mitzvot are only an extension of your character traits, which means that people say, oh yeah, I'm here to be a good person. You're right, we're created to be a good person. But what it means to be a good person? My friend, good person doesn't mean you hold the door for the lady. That's basic nature. So yes, being a good person, a Jew and a non-Jew, same thing. I want to be a good person, like the world says, derech eretz, the way of the world, to be nice. I'm a nice guy. Yeah, for this you don't need the Torah. So why do we need the Torah? Why do we need the mitzvot? We need them to teach you what it is to truly give charity, to truly visit the sick, to truly care about someone, to truly love. You want to know those how real character traits are supposed to be really good, to be a really good person? You cannot understand it unless you understand what God is trying to teach you through the Torah, because the Torah and the mitzvot are only here to push you to the extreme of being a good person, which is the true definition of good. What do I mean? What is good? Good is God. Same thing. That's why good and God are the same letters. The good is God. How do I know to be good? I cannot learn it from human beings. Here it's more respect, derech eretz, the way of the land. So it's just being polite. But being truly good means I'm going to the extreme. So if when I do an action and I can figure it out on my own, how to love someone. You know what loving someone is? Oh yeah, my neighbor, hi, I love him, I respect him, I don't do anything bad to him. So this is love. That cannot be love, because that's something I can figure out on my own. I don't have to be Jewish to do that. But a Jew is saying, no. You want to know truly what it means loving your neighbor? You need to learn it from God, because it's a definition that transcends what a regular human being can figure out. It means doing things that are uncomfortable. It means working on creating peace. It means whatever the Torah explains, loving your neighbor. So now we understand that this is what you have to do. You want to fight the Satan. You want to fight or do your purpose in this world, where, guess what? You have to spend time working on your character traits. If you're the same person this year as last year and as next year, then you're wasting your time. We're here to actually change our character traits, to become a little bit more giving, a little bit more loving, a little bit more patient, a little bit more calm, a little bit more whatever bad character traits we have. But we have to do it in a way that God tells us to, because otherwise you're just a nice person, but you're not really a good person. So that's the difference also between Jew and non-Jew. A non-Jew is required to be just a nice person. A Jew is supposed to be responsible to show the world, the non-Jews, and obviously themselves, what it means to really to be good, not just nice. And that for that you need the Torah. For that you need the commandments. The commandments are going to teach you how to take one character trait and to bring to the extreme. But you have to start with the basics of your character traits. And I want to read you two more things. I will finish with that. The Chovos HaLevavos, Duties of the Heart, very famous, also says like that. Listen to his word. That he says that the reason he wrote this book is that people are doing all the mitzvahs, yes, very nice, but nobody work on his character traits. So what does he say? Those among the people who are drawn to Torah study aim only to be considered Torah scholars by the common people and to be thought of as great men. They veer off the path of the Torah to study that which bring no excellence of character and does not correct personal faults, and ignorance of which brings no punishment, while neglecting the study of the fundamentals of the religion and the foundation of the Torah, which should not be ignored or forsaken. Meaning, people learn, the people learn Torah and they do the mitzvahs, but they don't do anything that and change them, their character traits, which is the main thing. The duties of the limb is much more important, of the heart is much more important than the duties of the limb, which are the commandments. So listen how it says, without knowledge of these fundamentals and foundations, which is the duties of the heart, character traits, and without practicing them, one simply cannot fulfill the commandments. You cannot, because you don't understand the whole system. The whole system is, my character traits are good, therefore the mitzvahs are gonna really work. Otherwise you do commandments like mitzvahs are nashim milumada, like a robot, and you don't understand what the purpose is for. And listen to Rabbi Yerucham Levovitz. He says like that: Torah and mitzvahs and Torah and wisdom are not the remedy for bad character traits, but just the reverse. When we refine our character traits, only then do we acquire Torah, and this is the truth. And that's now the period of the Omer. We are supposed to work on Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, which are all the character traits, to receive the Torah Mount Sinai. If you don't do that, then you're not going to receive the Torah. Listen how he finishes. A whole new definition of Naseh v'Nishma. He says, what's Naseh v'Nishma? He says, we shall do and we shall listen, with which the Jews accept the Torah at Sinai. The obvious question is, how can we do before one hears what one is supposed to do? How can there be a Naseh before a Nishma? Ask Rabbi Avraham Twersky in this book. Avraham Twersky, very good book. So he says, Rabbi Levovitz's exposition clarifies this. Naseh, to do, refers to the activation of proper character traits. Working on yourself, which the Talmud says we would have been obligated to implement even if the Torah had not been given to us. Our ancestors correctly grasped this principle, and this is why they were able to receive the Torah. Right? So this is missing. Naseh means I work on my character traits. Nishma means now I can do the mitzvahs and understand the Torah. So now that you understand that, you understand what the Satan is trying to do every day of his life. His job is to kill you. How? By you not working on yourself, your character traits. But my friend, this is the hardest thing in the world. Yes, because that's what his whole strength is. The hardest thing in the world is to change your character traits. So what you have to do the moment you wake up in the morning is, I am born to change my character traits. Melvin Agon says, if you're not changing your character traits, what are you living for? You're here for that. So you need a strategy. You need a system, a way, constantly remind yourself of that, and a system. So now you understand. You need to take books like the Messias Hashem or the Duties of the Heart or other books similar to that. Those two are probably the best out there because they give you a strategy. How do you do it? How do I work on character traits? Then when you learn the commandments, be careful. Just don't do the commandment with understanding how it improves your character traits. Because the whole point of the 613 commandments is to take your character trait and make them better, to the best. So, my friends, you know the secret. You know what the Satan is trying to do with your life and how to destroy you. Now you're in your own hands, like the Mesilas Yesharim says from the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot, if I am not for myself, who will be for me? If you are not for yourself and you don't take care of your character traits, who is going to be with you? Not Hashem, not yourself, and he's gonna be able to kill you and transform you into a robot, a fanatic Jew, someone who just do commandments as a robot and not understanding what he's doing, not becoming a better person, and Judaism is getting destroyed that way. We have, as Jews, to understand that, because this is our wisdom. The Mesilas Yesharim also brings that. This is our blessing, wisdom. The Shlomo HaMelech says that. No, sorry, in the Shlomo HaMelech. It says in Parshas Dvarim that this is our greatness among the nations. That's what we're supposed to show. We're supposed to show to the nations that, yes, we know what true good is, how to act truly good. But if we do the mitzvot, and it's just an action, and it doesn't transform itself, it doesn't show a change of behavior, it's not that the Torah and the mitzvahs are not going to be our wisdom, and then the non-Jews are not going to look up at us. So the only way is to really live it, and then there will be the glory of the Torah. Then the non-Jews will accept the Torah, and then the non-Jews will recognize there's something good in it, that is a God, and that it is something divine in there. So it's our responsibility to do that. Let us change ourselves and change the world. May God be with you, my friends.